Season 11 is just as good as the other hit seasons. But does it break Season 8? Let's find out right now. We are going to be re-ranking Season 11. Tied with Season 8's ranking of mine on which I like the best. Let's get started. Thomas and the Storyteller is a great start of Season 11. It does the 3 strikes formula perfectly. Thomas helping his friends is great, and the Storyteller has a neat design, and I love the set work of the library being open. This is a great start so far. I'm going to put this one in the favorites. However, Emily's rubbish is a slight step down. Whiff's design is nice, and I do like that he gets more attention until Misty Island Rescue, that is. But I don't think Emily was necessarily the right character. Spencer returns, so that's not going to be a big issue until we can get this thing out of the way. Not even good enough to look at. For now, I'll place this in the poor tier. Dream On is another favorite of mine. Thomas and Spencer's dynamic is great, and I do like the moral about being yourself, though. Thomas doesn't have to be fast, shiny, or stronger to be Spencer. I'm gonna put it in the favorites. Dirty Work had a good concept that was badly executed. James is so out of character, and him denying his help from his friends doesn't make any sense. It's just James not wanting to help because he's got a special thing to do at the thing at the night. I don't know. I don't remember the set work of this, so I'm going to put this one in the poor tier. It was really close to being in the bad tier, but barely. Hector the Horrid is considered to be everyone's favorite episode of Season 11. It's not, but it's very close. I like Hector. Hector's character is really nice, and Thomas is perfectly in character. This doesn't use the 3 strikes formula that much, which I think it uses it pretty nicely. I like how Bill and Ben return, although once seen in Thomas's new trucks, but it doesn't matter. I'll put this one between Thomas and the Storyteller and Dream On. Gordon and the Engineer is okay. Gordon is in character, though, and I do like that Donald and Douglas return. Overall, it isn't that interesting. It goes in the okay tier. Thomas and the Spaceship is another great one, but it's not a favorite of mine. The nighttime visuals are great, and I do like the fact that Thomas and Percy's dynamic was fun. Although Thomas looking for a spaceship doesn't make any sense since it's just Jeremy all along. And I do like how the foggy visuals are there too. I'll put this in the great, though it uses the 3 strikes formula as usual. Henry's Lucky Day is much worse. Henry is so out of character, and looking for special trucks just wastes a lot of time. The visuals in the snow are great though, but the crash is nonsensical. Thomas is in character though, but yeah, so I'll put this one in the poor tier. Thomas in the Lighthouse is great and overhated. Sorry, but it just is. Nothing new happens, but the story's not going to bore me most. The story doesn't bother me most, but what bothers me is the grammar. It said speed it up. Here's an example from Duncan taking that elephant. The episode The Runaway Elephant, where it just says Duncan started to speed up. But in Thomas and the Lighthouse, it just says Thomas speeded up. Here are the parts of what I mean by that, comparing The Runaway Elephant and this episode.
Duncan started to speed up. And so Thomas speeded up, just a little.
Overall, I'll put this one in the favorites, but it's going to go at the bottom of the favorites, though. Thomas and the Big Bang is another solid episode. Although everyone is out of character, which I don't mind, but Thomas doesn't even get a new whistle. He just plays tricks for no reason. I'll put this one above Thomas and the Lighthouse. Shameful how we have the Thomas episodes to go into the favorites so far. Yeah, whatever. Smoke and Mirrors is everything fans hate about the hit era. It's boring, uninteresting, and it just doesn't make any sense. Thomas is an idiot in this episode, and the Great Magician is not that interesting. This goes in the bad tier. Very weird how this many episodes goes in the favorites so far. We're now just 11 episodes in, and we already got a bad episode. Many fans treat Season 11 like if it only had bad episodes. Well, that is not the case, though. Thomas Set Sail is another okay episode. The wind visuals are great, and I do like that we get to see Thomas getting blown by the wind with the sail. It's fun, and it's kind of enjoyable to watch. I'll put this one above Gordon and the Engineer in the okay tier. Don't Be Silly Billy is the worst episode of the season. Thomas is seriously in character here, and I don't understand why Billy would just be annoying. Billy calling Thomas a bossy engine makes zero sense, all just because that Thomas wants him to take coal in water for some reason. Although Billy's design is not that much to say. It is probably better than Thomas and the Statue, because at least Thomas isn't seriously out of character. So yeah, I'll put this in the bad tier, as you know. Edward and the Mail was very close to being in the mediocre tier, but after rewatching it, it kind of sucks to me though. Edward is kind of out of character, and I don't understand why the signalman would just forget to switch the points. And yeah, the three strikes formula is used once again, and it's probably used in every episode, don't get me wrong, but it's just a shame that we never got to see Edward pulling the mail again. I'm going to put this at the top of the bad tier. Well, probably at the top of the bad tier, I guess. Yeah. However, Hide and Peep is another good one. Thomas and Percy are fun in this one, and they just play hide and seek for about like 7 whole minutes of the episode. And it's nice to see Cranky get a major role, but I thought it would be a favorite of mine, so I'll put it in the great. Toby's triumph is, to me, worse than Thomas Set Sail. Apparently, I don't like Toby here. He's out of character, and that stupid CGI splash thing, which Toby goes through a muddy pond, it sucks so bad. Alicia Body is so out of character, too. And I don't like how their dynamic was handled badly at the airport. It's very close, but I'll put this in the bad tier. Thomas and the Runaway Car is much better. Thomas and Gordon's dynamic is fun, and it's handled so much better than seeing the sights. And that runaway scene is fun, too. Arthur getting fish shot from the air and onto him, and Rosie getting covered in mud from a washdown. It's funny, but it quite makes a difference. The crash with Sir Topham Hatt's new blue car getting into a haystack kind of sucks. Other than that, I'll place this one in the favorites. Thomas in Trouble is another favorite of mine. Probably the standout episode of the season, don't get me wrong. Thomas choosing his work over his health is a good concept. But for some reason, Thomas having black smoke coming out of his funnel after not waiting for his final inspection kind of says so. But I don't like the line Sir Topham Hatt says in Thomas in Trouble when he gets into the factory. Or not the factory, the repair yard. Just saying that that Thomas was nearly ready, and he would just say,
Nearly ready isn't good enough, said Sir Topham Hatt.
yeah, that really sucks so hard. I don't understand why he would say that. You could have just waited patiently, Sir Topham Hatt, or not like, ooh, I don't know, maybe get a new engine. Yeah, whatever. I'll put this one above Thomas and the Storyteller. Thomas and the Stinky Cheese is fun, but kind of close to being great. I do like Thomas's dynamic with the Diesels, though, and his interactions is fun. And the whole concept of Thomas not wanting to think the Diesels can smell the stinky cheese is fun, too. Although that crash is so dumb, not gonna lie. I do like how Thomas is covered in stinky cheese. And yeah, that's pretty much everything it goes. I'll put this at the top of the okay tier. Very fun. Percy and the left luggage is fine, although nothing too much to say. I do like Percy and Edward's interaction, though, when Percy had to take the baggage. Other than that, I don't have anything to say, so I'll put this one in the okay tier. Duncan Does It All is bland as heck. I do like that Duncan is in character, though, but him choosing another job kind of makes it sense. But I don't like the fact that Mr. Percival would just talk to Rusty and Skarloey that they are in trouble. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Ugh. This goes in the poor tier. I don't understand why. Sir Handel in Charge is mid, although not bad either. Sir Handel is out of character, though, and I do like the fact that an engine being in charge is worth that. But I don't know why he would be in charge after Mr. Percival wants to go see Sir Topham Hatt. Thomas is in character, though, which is fine with me. But I'll put this in the middle of the okay tier for now. Cool Truckings is a fantastic episode. I like how Madge is introduced, and I do like the fact that her and Duncan's dynamic is fun. The snowy visuals in this one are really good, and the crash is so good as well. And Madge doing donuts is insane, and him spraying a policeman is funny. Although, I have one small problem with this, though. And the fact is that, how in the world do they stay on the edge? If they had fallen down, that would have been so much worse. Instead, Madge just fixes her own mistake instead of Mr. Percival coming over. This is the standout. This is probably gonna go above Dream On. Ding-a-Ling is another fun episode. Freddy is kind of out of character, but listening to all the bells is fun. Duncan Drops a Clanger had an example of Duncan becoming careless and going faster when hearing the bell chime, which is fun too. But Ding-a-Ling had some potential with Freddy looking for a bicycle bell, only to find a cowbell, a clown bell, or, well, I don't think it's a clown bell, and I think a school bell. Listening to all the bells is enjoyable. So I'll put it between Thomas and the Spaceship and Hide and Peep. Skarloey Storm Through is another great one. Although Skarloey is out of character, but I do like the storm visuals. And Skarloey helping the little lambs sure are fun to listen to. Although Peter, Sam, and Rheneas were not really the right characters for this. I feel like it should have been like Duncan or Rusty that would have done the job, not them two. That's my only issue with it. Other than that, I'll put it in great. Wash Behind Your Buffers is probably my favorite episode of the season. Madge is such a good character, and she's perfectly in her character. The Wash Behind Your Buffers quote is fun, and I do like this one scene where Madge gets clogged from her exhaust pipe by backfiring mud all over Rheneas and Skarloey. The brass band are fun too, but although somehow Rheneas and Skarloey are just dirty all of a sudden from their jobs, which doesn't really make any sense. But it's fun. It's my favorite episode, so I'll put this one at the top of the favorites. Overall, Season 11 is a great season, although it can't beat the classic era, let's be true. But it does have some plots that don't really use the Three Strikes formula. Hector the Horrid, Cool Truckings, and Gordon and the Engineer all had their standouts right there that don't use that plot. Thomas and the Stinky Cheese and Thomas Set Sail had some fun interactions and how potential it can get with wind blowing and trying not to let anyone smell the stinky cheese. And the Engines and Escapades DVD is pretty decent though, although fun as well. The episodes that didn't really get much of a standout would be Duncan Does It All and Sir Handel in Charge. Thomas and the Spaceship and Thomas and the Lighthouse had amazing night visuals that shone across the island. While Thomas and the Lighthouse has the lighthouse beaming from all the way across the hill, and as Thomas missed the firework display, it's fun too. But as for the new characters, they're not too bad, but I think Billy's probably the worst out of all of these newbies. Like, stop telling me what to do. You're a very bossy engine. Yeah, well, who cares about that? Hector the Horrid is actually really solid because Hector is perfectly in character and his crash is epic. And I don't know why he is, though. Henry's Lucky Day and Cool Truckings also had the winter visuals that pretty much did really well. I don't know if I'm wrong about this or not, but it's so interesting. Toby's Triumph had a poor attempt at this, but it's all well set through. Celebrities don't matter, though. And that's probably all, except for, like, Thomas and the Runaway Car and Smoke and Mirrors had the circus tent with the magician and the brand new car. It's fun out of all of what I see. Alright, that is actually all that I have much to say about. Thank you for watching this video. Owen Super YouTube channel. I'm signing out. Goodbye.